Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel Young and The Restless Diaries. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Claire confronts Jordan after Nick presents Chance with a novel theory. On today's episode of The Young and The Restless, Jordan breaks up with Ian, Victoria begs Chelsea to approach him, and Nick speculates that Ian might not be working alone. Victoria welcomes Chelsea as she enters the jazz lounge. She invites her to have a bourbon with her. In order to avoid the dark stuff, Chelsea orders a martini. Victoria says she's a pretty good listener and will discuss what happened with her, Billy, and Adam if she wants to. Claire asks Mariah and Tessa if Sharon has been harmed as she enters Crimson Light's patio. According to Mariah, they haven't. It's as if she disappeared, Tessa continues. Why can't they find her, asks Mariah. Mariah reassures Claire that her mother is still alive based on her expression. She would sense it if she was. Claire is confident that she will show up. I would know. Mariah explains that this doesn't make sense. On New Year's Eve, Sharon was thrilled and resumed taking her medication. Claire opens her mouth to speak, but stops. Mariah encourages her to go on. Even if you might not like what I have to say, grimaces Claire. Claire questions whether Sharon wishes to remain hidden. Mariah rejects the notion that she fled. They recently received evidence that she did not murder Heather. According to Claire, hypnosis showed that another person was there at the incident. Tessa and Mariah maintain that she was on firm ground. It can't be a coincidence, Mariah cries, that Ian appeared when Sharon vanished. Tessa claims that Victor is being followed around by his security detail. Mariah claims that he is able to pass security personnel and fences. Tessa informs her that Ian was at Society earlier, saying, I threatened to kill him if I saw his face again. Mariah ponders, what? She is relieved to learn that Abby threw him out and informs Tessa that he is attempting to get under their skin. According to Tessa, he wanted to make things right. Mariah objects, saying, it's all lies, Ian is doing something that isn't very good. Sharon hears her name being called in the sewer. When Nick shows up, she says she was expecting him. He breaks the bonds with his bare hands and reassures her that everything will be all right. After then, he vanishes into thin air. Nick? Calls Sharon. Nick, she understands that the drugs must still be in her system and that Nick wasn't genuine. Summer is grateful that Chance invited her to meet him at Society. Chance believes they ought to repeat it at some point. She concurs. Nick enters to inquire about Sharon's condition. Chance claims that while his men are working non-stop, there is no new information. When Chance calls, nothing has changed. Summer inquires as to whether her father is certain Sharon didn't run. She had no reason to do that, according to Nick. She was on course and eager for clarification. Chance concurs with Summer's scowl, none of this makes any sense. When you find Sharon's car in the river, all the windows and doors are closed, as if she got out before it entered. What if Sharon hadn't been in the car at all? Nick asks. Jordan asks Ian, where the hell have you been, as he unlocks the motel door for him. She wants answers and throws his coffee in the plant. Her tone bothers Ian. He sneaking out without saying anything bothers Jordan. He was taking care of their affairs. Ours or yours, she says. She notes that they are far from achieving their goals and that he has brought their adversaries to their door. So what the devil is happening, Ian? Is it part of the plot, Jordan notes, that Nick Newman threatened to kill him? Ian informed the police that the Newmans had a chaplain working for him. Jordan finds out that he attended Society in order to strengthen his bond with Tessa. He was expelled by Abby, but he was able to persuade Tessa that he shares some of the blame for her health. He's hoping for the best for her, Arya, Mariah, and Jordan. Jordan has doubts. Ian is confident that a clean route to Claire will be available once he regains his good standing with the young ladies. Jordan is furious because he hasn't helped her in any way. She has had enough of his telling her to wait. She is not going to be let down. She is going to take matters into her own hands from now on. This partnership is being terminated tout de suite. Chelsea informs Victoria in the jazz lounge that Adam was not at fault for this. Together, they made this error. She begs her not to criticize him. To Chelsea's surprise, Victoria insists there is no judgment. Victoria claims that although she and Adam have problems, Adam has stepped up and been a good parent to Connor, a youngster in distress. No one would be shocked if they reconciled, and it makes sense that they would have gotten closer. Chelsea informs her that Victor told her that as well. All of a sudden, he is supporting the cause. Victor smirks and says, no pressure or anything. She believes he sees what she does and that Connor would benefit more from her and Adam together. They're not her and Cole, according to Chelsea. After receiving a miracle, they fell in love once more. Although she's pleased for her, she believes that a reunion between her and Adam would be disastrous considering their past. She acknowledges that Adam wants her to move in with him, but she assured him that there would be no romance there. According to Victoria, it wouldn't be the worst idea for her to move in. Nick informs Summer and Chance at Society that Sharon would not have had time to exit the vehicle after it plunged into the river. It must have been placed there by someone else. Nick informs Chance that Sharon was singled out and set up. What if Heather was murdered by the same individual who poisoned her medications? This seems like a reach to Chance. Summer surmises that the individual abandoned Sharon to bear the blame. Chance queries whether Nick is suggesting that the one who threw her car into the river is the same one. Does this fit with his overall Ian theory? The timing, in Nick's opinion, cannot be coincidental. Though his intuition tells him differently, it might be. Sharon can still hear Nick's voice asking her to wait in the sewer. He'll track her down and take her home. Ian informs Jordan in the motel that they are a fantastic team and are moving forward. Jordan informs him that the Newmans are now snooping on them because he has just exploited her to obtain what he wants. Ian holds her accountable. She has acted recklessly. There is currently a police inquiry after Nick obtained Sharon's poison medications. It is unacceptable. Jordan admits he wanted Sharon gone as the conversation shifts to her. Ian wanted her dead, but she isn't. I did exactly that. Is she? Claire and Tessa encourage Mariah to think that Sharon will return home at Crimson Lights. Ian may be awful, but he no longer has any power, Claire reminds her. Nicky shared his past with her. He has already been stopped and will be stopped once more. He reminds her so much of her Aunt Jordan, she thinks. If she were to confront her again, like Mariah had to do with Ian, she is unsure of what she would do. Mariah claims that it left her speechless. Claire tells them that she heard the woman earlier place an order for Jordan's drink. How likely is it that someone would order anything so unusual? She called the prison because she was so terrified, and they told her that she was still inside. Mariah is happy. Two crazy people running around town is not necessary. Claire informs Mariah and Tessa that she is unsure of what she would do if Jordan were to escape. They go over her being sentenced for life. Mariah says that before they can cope with getting Ian out of their lives, they must get Sharon home safely. Ian informs Jordan in the hotel room that everything hinges on finding Sharon's body, framing Phyllis, and Mariah finding solace in his arms. Ian bangs his hand against the table, demanding to know the truth about Sharon's situation. Unlike some flunky, Jordan will not be interrogated. Ian claims that he heard Chance speaking to another police officer when Sharon wasn't even in the car. How in the hell did you handle Sharon? Chelsea informs Victoria in the jazz lounge that Connor wants her to live on the ranch with Adam. She desires to support him. Victoria is pleased with his current management of his OCD. Chelsea is quite proud. Victoria is unable to express her admiration for her, and Adam, for that matter. She is unsure of what she would do if Katie or Johnny were in that situation. Chelsea is certain that she would not know exactly what to do. For Connor's mental health, Victoria hopes she'll think about moving. She has a positive impact on Adam, who might benefit from all the positive influences in his life. It's unclear to Chelsea whether she's prepared to live with him once more. Victoria claims that she would be committing to Connor. Adam doesn't see the difference, according to Chelsea. Chance calls Nick at society and informs him that although he was present when Sharon vanished, he is aware that Ian is threatening his family. Summer acknowledges that it's difficult to explain. Nick questions whether he followed her and reached her. He remembers that on New Year's, Ian requested a reservation for two from Tessa. What if he isn't working by himself? Nick continues by saying that he needs hints. In the interim, he requests that Summer keep Phyllis in her lane. Summer claims that she has vowed to stop interacting with Sharon. It's a resolution for the new year or something. She advised them to put their problems with Sharon behind them and go on with their lives. She believes that karma will take effect. Nick gives an eye roll. Summer tells her father that he should feel better about his notion that Sharon wasn't in the automobile. Nick fears that someone is keeping her as a captive and pretending she has passed away. Who would conduct something so drastic, and what would be the motivation? Jordan informs Ian in the motel room that she left Sharon alone in a secure location. She will never get away. Ian is unable to comprehend her thoughts. Jordan has needs as well, and she will take care of them herself if they are not met. Ian tells her that she's just created a new loose end while they argue. Jordan will not tolerate him making fun of her. Particularly now that their partnership is dissolved, one person's loose end could be another's insurance policy. She gathers her belongings and leaves even though Ian croons about keeping her warm at night. He cautions that it would be foolish for her to turn away from him. Being a man of the cloth, he cannot remain silent after learning of a young woman's murder, particularly if he is aware of the identity of the murderer. Jordan yells that she will tell the police where Sharon is, and every piece of evidence will lead him directly to her if he identifies her as Heather's killer. Ian cautions her that she won't be able to return if she leaves. Jordan wishes him well and a pleasant life that lasts forever. Ian screams in exasperation as she walks away. Claire enters Crimson Lights from the patio while Jordan is placing another order. Jordan, she asks. Claire follows Jordan as she leaves. Chelsea, who is by herself in the jazz lounge, sighs as she examines a picture of herself, Adam, and Connor. She asks if they may meet over the phone. She has decided to relocate to the ranch. Chance is devastated to learn that Nick went to confront Ian in his motel room at society. Nick had to demand answers while looking him in the eye. Chance raises his hands and says, he denied it, of course. Nick didn't threaten him, he is certain. He cautions that he should leave this to the experts. Summer is concerned that he is collaborating with someone as deranged as he is. Nick is certain about it. He may have made a grave mistake by putting himself in a public setting when Sharon vanished. Shran pulls on the chain while sipping her water in the sewage. She wishes there was something out there that she could utilize. She finds a black pipe and tries to get to it. Jordan removes her spectacles and turns to face Claire as they catch up in the parquet. Claire exclaims, "Hello, kitten. My God, it's you." Next on The Young and the Restless, Billy makes a startling choice, and Chelsea surprises Adam. Spoilers for Phyllis's controversial new man, a couple that would blow Genoa City away, from The Young and the Restless. According to previews for The Young and the Restless, Phyllis Summers hasn't had a true love story in a long time. Even though Phyllis has been attempting to sabotage Billy Abbott and Sally Spectra's romance, she is most likely merely a barrier that they must overcome on their own journey to love. For Sally, Phyllis is now more of an obnoxious intruder than a serious rival. Even if Phyllis appears in this plot, it's unlikely that she's preparing for a big new chapter with Billy. It appears that YNR is happy to let Phyllis wander aimlessly, but perhaps that ought to change. For Phyllis, we can think of one contentious new man who might be available shortly. In the upcoming months, Summer Newman and Chance Chancellor are likely to remain apart. Given that Summer is fixated on Kyle Abbott and coping with jealousy over his new relationship, Chance may finally let her go. Who will Chance be paired with next if he and Summer end their relationship permanently? Perhaps that attraction could resurface and result in flying sparks, as Phyllis once sought Chance. Chance believed that Abby Newman was a decent lady, but she cheated on him with Devin Winters. Although Sharon Newman and Chance had a brief romance, it didn't end well in the end either. He might end up feeling confused and disheartened by all his love follies because Chance and Summer's romance is about to end. Chance and Phyllis would have a fantastic chance to develop a fascinating relationship. Phyllis's connection with Summer may become tumultuous if she develops feelings for her daughter's ex. Chance would also encounter many doubters who would advise him to avoid Phyllis because she may be so troublesome. Chance, on the other hand, has attempted to pursue decent girls and might decide it's time to blow up Genoa City with a bad girl. Chance might be in need of a scary woman right now. Stay tuned for our predictions on Phyllis's romantic future because, in any event, she could need a true pairing rather than merely acting as angst in Billy and Sally's romance. According to spoilers on The Young and the Restless, Phyllis may update her romantic life in the future. Claire and Jordan reunite, Billy's startling decision, and Adam being blindsided. Here are the spoilers for Wednesday, January 15, 2025's episode of The Young and the Restless. Fans can anticipate that Chelsea Lawson will surprise Adam Newman in tomorrow's show. Jordan and Claire Grace Newman next reunite on The Young and the Restless. Billy Abbott also makes a startling choice. Chelsea Lawson's decision on The Young and the Restless. According to Wednesday, January 15 spoilers for YNR, Adam has been promoting the notion of Chelsea and Connor Newman moving on to the ranch. Even though Chelsea has spoken with both Adam and Connor, she remains unsure. That is, until Chelsea and Victoria Newman spoke. YNR spoilers, Adam Newman's surprise Victoria seems to think moving in was a smart idea, despite the fact that she and Adam have never gotten along. Adam has evolved and matured over the past year, as even Victoria noted. Chelsea will so surprise Adam after speaking with Victoria. Even if Chelsea and Adam don't have a romantic relationship, it sounds like they might still decide to move in together. Spoilers about Jordan's reunion on The Young and the Restless. Jordan and Claire will reunite on Wednesday, January 15. When Claire calls Jordan by name at the coffee shop in a preview clip, fans watched. Jordan smiles and leaves the coffee shop without looking at Claire. Is Claire going to follow Jordan? It sure looks that way, particularly if they get together again. However, this might endanger Claire. Billy Abbott's startling choice. According to Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, January 15, Billy Abbott makes a startling choice. Billy and Phyllis Summers intended to collaborate in order to exact revenge on Victor Newman. Maybe Billy could call off the assignment for the time being since people are now aware of Jordan and Ian Ward. Naturally, the startling choice might also have to do with Billy's relationship with Sally Spectra. In an interview, it was said that Phyllis would represent the devil and Sally would be the angel on Billy's shoulder. Spoilers for The Young and the Restless for Wednesday, January 15, 2025. In addition, there is the question of Ian's future. Although Ian is aware that Sharon Newman is still alive, he is unsure of where Jordan hidden her. Furthermore, it appears like these criminals are about to turn on one another in a very nasty manner since Jordan has had enough of Ian. What is the plot that you are most excited to see? Post your ideas in the space provided for comments below. Spoilers for The Young and the Restless. Jordan and Claire's tense encounter. Is the age of fear finally over? Updates and spoilers for The Young and the Restless hint that the week of January 13th to 17th will be exciting in many ways. First, Claire Newman's fears about her Aunt Jordan being at large will eventually be confirmed. Spoilers for The Young and the Restless. Claire Grace's uneasy feeling. Fans may recall that Claire had an odd feeling in the episode that aired on Friday, January 10th. When Esther Valentine recited an order for oolong tea that precisely matched her aunt's tastes, déjà vu struck at the coffee shop. Claire felt uneasy after reading the order's exacting specifications, which sent a chill down her spine. She told Nikki Newman about the unsettling experience when she got back to the Chancellor's offices, but her grandma brushed it off. After all, there didn't seem to be any reason to worry, as Jordan was incarcerated and Victor Newman was making sure the family was safe with stringent security measures. YNR spoilers. Claire Grace threatens Jordan Howard. The most recent YNR preview indicates that Claire will catch Jordan red-handed at Crimson again as we jump into the week of January 13th to 17th. Jordan stands in line, disguised and engrossed in her phone, blissfully oblivious to Claire, who is standing right behind her. The instant Jordan gets her order and thanks the waiter, Claire's ears perk up at the familiar voice and she approaches her aunt. Claire will tell Nikki and Victoria Newman about this startling experience during the week, but will they believe her? Will Victor be mentioned? That's unclear, but one thing is certain, Claire and Jordan will have a heated argument when the episode premieres on Friday, January 17th. Spoilers for The Young and the Restless. Claire Grace will mean business. Claire is prepared to face her aunt with a grave threat. Either Claire approaches her aunt directly or Jordan may attempt to kidnap her. In any case, Claire is over her fear of her aunt. Jordan has robbed her of too many happy years, and she will not tolerate any more. Going backward is Claire's only worry now that she is living her life as a Newman and having a wonderful relationship with Kyle Abbott. Is it possible that Claire and Jordan may get into a physical altercation? They may say hurtful things to each other, but Claire will defend herself if Jordan threatens her independence. For the sake of her family's safety as well as her own, Claire will stop at nothing to permanently stop Jordan. Wednesday, January 15th. Recap of The Young and the Restless. Claire embraces Jordan. Sally and Adam reaffirm their alliance. Chelsea Lawson will run into Billy Abbott and mention that Adam Newman requested her to move into the old ranch house, but she will claim that she is doing this for Connor Newman, according to The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, January 15th. Billy will believe that having both of Connor's parents present makes sense, but he will be concerned about Adam's capacity for manipulation and will caution Chelsea. Adam will give Sally Spectra an update on his move-in offer for Chelsea during their awkward conversation at Society. Sally will encourage Adam to get back together with Chelsea, but she won't want to talk to Billy about her personal life. Adam will believe he is targeting Chancellor after Sally eventually reveals something about Billy's obsessions, and he will then lash out at Billy for being a sore loser. Adam enjoys causing harm and whining about the consequences, so that will aggravate Sally a little. Billy won't mind when Sally later apologizes to him for telling Adam too much. Sally will not believe that it is wise for her to be aware of the specifics of Billy's vindictive scheme. Billy will say that's up to Sally, but he will acknowledge that his family is the only way to pursue Victor Newman. When Chelsea returns, she will see Adam and inform him that she has made the decision to move to the ranch for Connor's benefit. Although he will believe that this will benefit them all, Adam will essentially reassure Chelsea that he can respect her boundaries. In the park, Claire Newman will assert that she has finally realized that the Newmans are cunning, manipulative hypocrites, as Jordan had forewarned her. Claiming that Jordan was correct about the Newmans, Claire will argue that they betray anyone in the name of family. At first, Jordan will appear doubtful of Claire's change of heart, but Claire will clarify that she followed her by herself and didn't notify the Newman family or the police. Jordan will say it's up to Claire because she will question if he returned to give her another chance or to make her pay. Claire will exaggerate that Victoria Newman doesn't truly know her the way she does her other children after complaining that she doesn't fit in with the Abbotts or the Newmans. Jordan will start crying as soon as Claire starts crying and acts as though Jordan is the only person she can trust. Jordan will take Claire into a warm embrace when she says she can no longer pretend. Naturally, it appears that Claire is persuading Jordan that she is back on her side while constructing a fresh, intricate web of lies. Even while Claire insists that this isn't a trap, it appears that she is setting one. Don't miss all the surprises and upheavals that lie ahead, as our YNR forecasts suggest that Claire may endanger herself even more with her devious deception. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Claire's deception will cause problems in the upcoming episodes. How The Young and the Restless might be shaken by Tara Locke's return. To spice things up with the Abbotts, Harrison meets his biological mother. Harrison's biological mother is Tara. Additionally, she is the ideal candidate to challenge the Abbotts on The Young and the Restless. The ideal individual to sow discord between Kyle and his ex-wife, Summer, would be Tara. Real mother of Harrison knows that Tara is his biological mother. But it's been years since he last saw her. Tara's embezzlement led to her incarceration. Additionally, Kyle ensured that she was excluded from Harrison's life. The Abbott golden child is the reason Tara hasn't gotten in contact with Harrison. Harrison's primary parent status was awarded to Kyle. Harrison was adopted by Summer. She therefore treats him as though he were her real son. Due to her white-collar drama's transgressions, Tara is incarcerated. However, Tara can get out of jail if others like Ian and Jordan can. Why it's necessary Tara needs to get back to Genoa City. She might resolve Kyle's paternity issue. Like when they initially met at the Hamptons, Tara could entice him. His blossoming connection with Claire may become tense as a result of this. It's obvious that Kyle has a type. He adores blondes. Or Tara might break up with all of the Abbotts. She might be able to get past the men. Ashland Locke married Tara, a gold digger. She has the ability to worm her way into Jack and Diane's relationship. Lanier would have so much more potential if she were cast as a full-time member. There are already too many adversaries tormenting the Newmans. The Abbotts need to receive the same treatment now. Tara might go back and figure out how to get her son and the Abbotts' wealth. Tara might alter her appearance to deceive the family, which would enable the role to be recast in the show. There isn't this enjoyable soap opera. Spoilers for The Young and the Restless. When Connor stumbles onto Victor's dungeon, his OCD flares up at the ranch. According to previews for The Young and the Restless, Connor, Adam, and Chelsea Lawson are set to start a new journey when they move into Victor and Nikki Newman's former house. Could something happen that sets off Connor's obsessive-compulsive illness, though, as an old home brings with it old, disturbing memories? According to previews for The Young and the Restless, Connor Newman recently acknowledged that he was anxious about moving into the Newman ranch with his father and how intimidating the prospect was. He did mention that Chelsea had agreed to accompany them because it would be simpler if his mother was present. The house is larger, requires some getting accustomed to, and some of the rooms could seem eerie to a child. Since the house used to belong to his grandparents, Connor is already familiar with the most of it, but may something occur that causes the little child to have a severe OCD flare-up? YNR spoilers. Connor Newman investigates. Fans may remember that in the spring of 2024, a whole plot around Victor's dungeon basement, where he held Jordan captive, when everyone believed she had drowned in the river, was revealed. Naturally, Cole Howard learned of Victor's plans, and with Michael Baldwin's assistance, the two freed Jordan to the police, keeping everyone in the dark about what Victor had done. Even if Cole and the mustache entered the basement's cell prison section, Connor can still find it by accident. After all, the house is enormous and ideal for a child to explore. He might accompany Johnny Abbott, or he might go alone. What happens if the guys discover the basement of the dungeon? The location appears eerie even without the prison cell, and this could reveal a long-standing issue that Victor never wanted to revisit. After all, Cole would be in a difficult situation if Johnny went back to Victoria Newman and told her about it. The greatest piece of the drama jigsaw would be how Victor could possibly explain away the room, but overall, the entire experience might potentially cause Connor to have a severe OCD flare-up. Would Connor's OCD be triggered if he happened upon Victor's dungeon room? Following her breakup with Ian, Claire confronts Jordan, and Chelsea decides whether to move to the ranch. Chance and Nick ponder the evidence. Claire shares her unsettling experience with Mariah and Tessa, and Victoria and Chelsea discuss moving into the property. Victoria and Chelsea have drinks in the jazz lounge. She offers to hear about Adam and Billy's experiences. Adam is not at fault, according to Chelsea. Together, they made the error. Victoria's decision to refrain from passing judgment surprises her. She observes that her brother has taken on the role of father. She is impressed by how hard they work together and isn't shocked that they have become closer. If they reunite, nobody would be shocked. To her astonishment, Chelsea claims Victor has also made similar suggestion. Victoria believes they might get along well once more. Chelsea believes that a new relationship between them would be disastrous. Adam wants her to live on the ranch so they can help their son, she says. That is not the worst idea, in Victoria's opinion. They talk about how Connor is handling his OCD and the possibility of moving to the ranch. Victoria is impressed by their handling of this situation. Billy moving to the ranch to assist their son seems unthinkable to her. She informs Chelsea that Adam would benefit greatly from her influence. Chelsea wishes to assist him, but she is unsure if she is prepared to live in the same room as him. Victoria notes that Connor would be committed to the transfer. Not Adam. Chelsea responds, I don't think Adam sees the difference. Chelsea sighs as she browses through her phone's photos of Adam and Connor when she is alone herself. She informs Adam over the phone that she has decided to live on the ranch. Claire wonders whether there has been any development in the hunt for Sharon as she meets Tessa and Mariah at Crimson Lights. They claim she simply vanished. Mariah is unwilling to acknowledge her mother's passing. She would sense it. This doesn't make sense, she replies, continuing to examine her phone. Her mother was stable once more. Claire says she might have fled and doesn't want to be caught, warning that they might not like what she has to say. Mariah doesn't get that. It seems improbable because they assure her she has evidence of her innocence. Mariah believes that Ian's return and this incident are not coincidental. Somehow he must be involved. Tessa notes that Victor's security detail is pursuing him. She acknowledges that Mariah threatened to murder him if he returned, which is why he was at Society. Ian said he wanted to make apologies for the past and apologized when Abby advised him to leave. Everything is false, Mariah says. He must have a sinister plan. She has had a hard time falling asleep. Claire assures her that he has already been stopped and that he no longer has power. She can't fathom what it would be like to have to confront Jordan again because he makes her think of her. She acknowledges that when someone ordered the same drink Jordan used to have, she experienced a PTSD flashback. To make sure she was still incarcerated, she called the prison. Mariah responds, "We don't need two crazy people running around town." After locating her mother, they must be concerned about Ian and make sure he doesn't infiltrate their life. When Sharon hears Nick's voice, she awakens in the sewers. She was certain that he would be her savior. He pulls off her chain. Sharon regains her composure. It was all a dream. The fact that the medicines are still in her system begins to bother her. Sharon imagines Nick telling her that he will assist her. After sipping some water, she notices a pipe. Sharon reaches, but she can't get it. Nick jogs over as Summer and Chance are wrapping up their date at Society and inquires as to if the police had discovered anything new on Sharon. They haven't. The officer dials the office number. Nothing new. According to Nick, Sharon couldn't have just left. According to his daughter, Phyllis believes she fled. He doesn't believe that for a moment. They don't understand any of this. Someone else must have placed the empty car there. Nick runs over what they know and assumes that the same person who drugged her dumped her card. He also assumes that Ian is involved. The cop thinks that is all a coincidence. Nick's gut says otherwise. They run over the time frame and Ian being there when Sharon went missing. Nick reminds him that Ian tried to make a reservation for two. Maybe he's not working alone? Summer wishes she could help, so Nick asks her to keep her mom in her lane. She claims her mom has resolved to drop it and seems to be trying. Nick hopes so. They get back to speculating on who could have abducted Sharon. Nick admits to the cop that he went to see Ian. Chance is not happy to hear it. Nick needed to confront him for answers but didn't get any. The detective urges him to let the professionals handle this, especially if Ward is working with someone else. Ian returns to the motel and Jordan dumps his now cold coffee on a plant, demanding to know where he was. He claims he was attending to their business. She thinks they are far from accomplishing what they set out to do. She heard all of what meathead Nick said to him, but he insists it is all going as planned. He claims that he was out trying to establish a relationship with Tessa when crazy blonde Abby threw him out. Jordan thinks he's full of crap, but he insists that getting access to Mariah again means access to Claire. She's doubtful, but he tells her they need to be patient. Jordan declares she is terminating their partnership. He insists they are a good team. She complains about that and accuses him of using her. They bicker and he accuses her of being careless. He's let go of her failing with the meds, but failing to kill Sharon is too much. She refuses to let him grill her like a flunky and he explains he already heard Chance say that there was no body in the car. Jordan admits she stashed her somewhere safe. Jordan has needs and needs guarantees they will be taken care of. He points out she's only created a new loose end and she refuses to stand for any more belittling from him. When she declares their partnership over, he asks who will keep her warm at night. As if, she says. Before she can exit, he warns turning her back on him would be a mistake. He threatens to expose her for killing Heather and she threatens to tell the cops he took Sharon. Wishing him luck with Mariah, she strides out, slamming the door. He yowls. Disguised Jordan goes to Crimson Lights to order her oolong and half when Claire overhears her. Jordan! She blurts. Jordan runs and Claire trails after her. She manages to corner her in the park. Yanking off her glasses, Jordan says, "Hello, kitten." The Young and the Restless spoilers, Summer calls Kyle's name in bed with Chance? The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Summer Newman is having a hard time with Kyle Abbott's relationship with Claire Newman and her growing role in Harrison Abbott's life. It's clear that Summer is struggling with some insecurities that are only going to get worse from here. Of course, a lot of Summer's complicated feelings may be tied to her lingering love for Kyle. Chance Chancellor is ready to help Summer move on, but things may not go according to plan. Summer had dinner with Chance and seems on board for more meals together, so she may try to force herself to let go of Kyle, at least initially. That could spell disaster if Summer reconnects with Chance in the bedroom and ends up saying the wrong name. It's easy to imagine Summer calling out Kyle instead of Chance in a passionate moment. Summer might have a fantasy that Kyle is in bed with her and catch Chance off guard when she mistakenly blurts out her ex-husband's name under the covers. Although Chance was eager to try again with Summer, that could certainly be a deal-breaker for him. Since YNR spoilers hint that Summer will pursue Kyle in the coming months, the show might use a bedroom blunder as a strategy to get Chance out of the way. If Summer fantasizes about Kyle in bed and potentially calls Chance by the wrong name, that could open both Chance and Summer's eyes to what she really wants. It could mark a turning point where Summer shifts her focus to reuniting with Kyle and putting their family with Harrison back together. Regardless, our predictions indicate that Summer's pursuit of Kyle will lead to some shockers down the road, so we'll pass along updates once her plan kicks off. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Summer will indeed decide she wants Kyle back sooner or later, so stay tuned for more news on all the romantic drama. Claire confronts evil Aunt Jordan. Claire doesn't seem as upset as we would expect. Scenes from Genoa City. Jordan's time stalking about Genoa City may be coming to an end. Her secret little life isn't so secret anymore now that she's come face to face with Claire. There's no way Claire will let her monster aunt get away with causing more chaos, right? Judging by the photos, Jordan looks quite amused to be chatting it up with her niece. In fact, she's smiling nearly the whole time. Dare we say, she looks quite amused and not scared at all. And, it's not like Claire is in attack mode with her hands tucked in her coat pockets. Very curious. What's really going on here? Audra on The Young and the Restless, everything you need to know. Audra Charles on The Young and the Restless may be relatively new to Genoa City, but she's determined to make her mark. The character first appeared on September 23, 2022, and is being played by daytime newcomer Zuleika Silver. And over time, she's established herself as someone who can hold her own among the town's power players. Audra Charles introduced herself to Nate Hastings in Crimson Lights when she recognized him. The former doctor thought she was one of his old patients, but she explained that she had been hired by Jill Abbott to help take Chancellor Winters public. The pair met again the next day at Society, where Audra asked Nate to give her the behind-the-scenes scoop at the company so she would know exactly who she was dealing with. After getting the scoop on Jill, Lily Winters, Billy Abbott, and Devin Hamilton, they went to Chancellor Winters so she could meet everyone in person. Nate introduced Audra to everyone, and Lily and Devin were surprised that they had already met. Audra was thrilled when Lily revealed that they decided to take the company public, and Audra assured them she'd do an IPO readiness assessment and help file all the paperwork. The following day, Audra introduced herself to Victoria Newman at the coffee shop and congratulated her on her success at Newman Enterprises. She also expressed an interest in doing lunch sometime as she wanted to get to know all the power players in town. But it turned out Audra was more connected than it initially appeared. First, she attended the opening of Noah Newman's new nightclub and revealed that she was the ex who had broken his heart in Europe and sent him running back to Genoa City. Then it turned out that she was secretly working with the recently returned Tucker McCall on getting him control of Chancellor Winters. The revelations just kept coming as Audra confessed to Noah that she had been pregnant when he dumped her and ran off, and she then lost the baby. He was shaken, but when Audra then tried to insist that they should get back together, he reminded her that he was dating someone else now. Frustrated, Audra returned to Tucker's room and slept with him instead. Things got awkward when Ashley Abbott almost caught them together, but it was actually Devin Hamilton who discovered that the pair were working together. Fired from Chancellor Winters for working with Tucker against them, Audra wasn't unemployed for long as Nate offered her a job working as his COO at Newman Enterprises. She accepted and began working as a double agent, stringing Tucker along to get information for Newman, though he naturally didn't trust her much. Audra began to suspect that there was something more than just professional going on between Nate and Victoria, and began dropping hints to Elena Dawson that her man might be cheating on her with his boss. She also suggested that she have Victoria's ex, JT Hellstrom, as a guest on her podcast to stir the pot, and helped track the guy down for her. Eventually, the meddling led Elena to break up with Nate, who was angry with Audra for interfering. However, the pair continued to work together at Newman, with Audra offering to watch his back in exchange for letting her run Newman Media. Knowing Nate had lied to Elena about his business trip to LA, Audra informed her that Victoria was with him. And while Nate was upset that Audra exposed his affair with Victoria, he still promised her his old position as CEO of Newman Media once he'd climbed the ladder at the company. Next, Audra lent a sympathetic ear to Kyle Abbott as he opened up about his split with his wife, which ultimately led to the two sleeping together. As Audra continued her affair with Kyle, she told him she wanted him to come work with her at Newman Media. When Adam Newman discovered that Tucker and Audra had covered up the fact that one of the artists on his label committed statutory rape, Tucker blamed her for the leak. Adam agreed to keep quiet if Audra convinced Victor Newman to merge Newman Media and his new company, Adustus. But she foiled his blackmail by appealing to Victor and Nikki Newman for help, playing the victim. Victor appointed Nikki as CEO of Newman Media with Audra as her COO, but Nikki warned her that she had to stop seeing Kyle if she wanted to keep her job. The pair decided to let everyone think they'd split up but continued sleeping together in secret. Ultimately, though, Nikki forced Audra to file Kyle, and she also ended their relationship. Tucker brought Audra into his scheme to use Billy to take down the Abbott family and steal Jabot. He also urged her to reignite her affair with Kyle so they could bring him in on the scheme. Kyle agreed to help them take over his family's company, but Tucker told Audra he suspected Jack Abbott would use Kyle as a double agent. When all the double-crossing was through, Audra was upset with Kyle for betraying her and also called it quits with Tucker. He attempted to win her back, but she wasn't having any of it. She then turned to Nate in the hopes of getting his help to steal Glissade away from Tucker. Audra tried to support Nikki's struggle with sobriety by opening up about her father's alcoholism. Unfortunately, Nikki didn't want her sympathy and decided to transfer Audra to Europe. When she refused the position, Nikki just up and fired her. Audra cozied back up to Tucker in the hopes of taking Glissade from the inside, but he was wary. But when a jealous Audra forced Tucker to choose between her and Ashley, he chose Audra. But she saw red when she found out he was still keeping tabs on Ashley and warned the blonde to back off. Although Tucker insisted he was just worried about Ashley's mental health, Audra was fed up and dumped him. She then forged a new friendship with Sally Spectra when they discovered how much they had in common. Audra insisted she was through with Tucker, so she was definitely caught by surprise when he surprised her with a romantic dinner and a marriage proposal. Audra turned down Tucker's proposal and said they could be together without tying the knot. She grew concerned about Ashley's erratic behavior as she and Tucker planned a business trip to Paris. Annoyed that Tucker continued prioritizing Ashley and Devin over her, Audra called it quits and decided to go to Paris on her own. But before she did so, she rubbed salt in the wound by enjoying a dinner date with Nate. When Tucker showed up at her hotel in Paris, Audra was furious and refused to let him steal Glissade for himself. Tucker explained about Ashley's alternate personalities, and while Audra felt compassion for her, she still felt nothing for Tucker anymore. He offered to just give her Glissade, but she knew it came with a catch and revealed she'd been working with a secret investor to buy him out so she could run the company herself. Tucker faked a heart attack to delay the vote, but in the end, Audra was voted CEO of Glissade. However, there was still a catch anyway because her secret investor was Victor and he wanted her to run the company with Kyle. He was happy to work with her, but Audra was wary about his intention to use Glissade to take revenge on his family by hurting Jabot. She rekindled her connection with Nate, though she insisted on keeping things casual. She did reveal to him, however, that Victor was Glissade's mystery investor. When Kyle tried to outmaneuver Audra with Victor, she attempted to fight back and wound up fired. Furious, Audra told Jack all about Victor investing in Glissade and using it and Kyle to fire back at him and the Abbotts. She was determined to get Glissade back somehow, but struggled to come up with a plan to make it happen. At Christmas, she accepted Nate's invitation to join him and his family for drinks, and she grew uncharacteristically emotional as they discussed family and legacies. Dangerous turn, working theory, common ground. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, January 14th, promise some interesting plot twists in the land of Genoa City. Coming up on The Young and the Restless, someone's revenge scheme takes a dangerous turn, while a character has a working theory on a missing person, and two people realize they have more in common than they once thought. What's set to unravel during Tuesday's show? Time to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Sharon Newman in dire circumstances. YNR spoilers for Tuesday, January 14th, imply that if fans didn't think that Sharon Newman was in dire circumstances before, her predicament is about to take an even more dangerous turn. What happens now? Sharon is running out of time and resources, so is there something else that could unfold to worsen the situation for her? Only time will tell. YNR spoilers, Nick Newman to the rescue. Speaking of Sharon, YNR spoilers for Tuesday, January 14th, suggest that Nick Newman will have a theory about Sharon's disappearance and share it with Chance Chancellor. Obviously, Nick believes that Ian Ward has something to do with Sharon going missing, but can these two put the pieces of this puzzle together in time to save their ex? Fans will have to tune in to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Chelsea Lawson finds common ground with Victoria Nemeth across town. YNR spoilers for Tuesday's episode reveal Chelsea Lawson and Victoria Newman will find out they have more in common than they think. As Chelsea struggles with the idea of moving in with Adam Newman at the Newman Ranch for Connor Newman's sake, will Vicky offer up some words of wisdom? These two ladies have never been close, considering the common bond they share with Johnny Abbott. Still, Chelsea might be apprehensive about moving in with Adam, especially with the idea that this could trigger a romantic reunion. Still, as Victoria recently enjoyed a nice reunion with her ex, Cole Howard, will she encourage Chelsea to take the leap of faith? Shocking news, awkward family reunion, surprising decision. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, January 15th, promise some major bombshells that are about to be dropped in the land of Genoa City. Coming up on The Young and the Restless, someone has shocking news, while a family reunion takes an awkward turn, and a character reveals a stunning decision. What's set to unravel during Wednesday's show? Time to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Chelsea Lawson's surprising news. YNR spoilers for Wednesday, January 15th, imply that Adam Newman will completely be thrown for a loop when Chelsea Lawson shocks him with some news. Looks like she'll be all in to make that move to the Newman Ranch with him and Connor Newman, which will be welcomed, but likely catch Adam off guard since she's been so against it. Still, her talk with Victoria Newman helped her make up her mind, so it'll be interesting to see Adam's reaction when she gives him the okay to start packing. YNR spoilers, Claire Newman comes face to face with Jordan across town. YNR spoilers for Wednesday, January 15th, suggest that Claire Newman will come face to face with Jordan as the two share an awkward family reunion. As Tuesday's show came to a close, Claire happened to be at the coffee house at the same time Jordan was, and as her aunt grabbed her beverages and thanked the server behind the counter, Claire knew it was Jordan behind that disguise as soon as she heard her voice. She followed her out to the park, where the woman finally stopped, and the two are set to have a confrontation during Wednesday's show. But will Claire fall into Jordan's trap? She can be quite crafty. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Billy Abbott's stunning decision across town. YNR spoilers for Wednesday's episode reveal Billy Abbott will make a shocking decision. At this point, the only surprising decision Billy could make is to abandon his revenge plans against Victor Newman, but is that even possible? Fans will have to tune in to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Valentine's Day countdown, Chelsea and Adam finally surrender to passion? The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that it took some convincing, but Chelsea Lawson is ready to move in the old ranch house with Adam Newman and Connor Newman. Although Chelsea is telling herself this is for Connor's sake, part of her wants to be near Adam deep down. Chelsea is in denial about her true feelings for Adam and what that Baltimore hookup really meant. It was more than just two struggling parents coming together in a drunken moment. It was also about Adam and Chelsea reconnecting with years of history fueling their passion. Now YNR fans are wondering when Chelsea and Adam will finally surrender to that passion once again. The countdown is on since Chelsea will be living under the same roof as Adam. That's going to stir up plenty of temptation and make it harder for Chelsea to fight what's in her heart. Once Chelsea moves her stuff in and starts strengthening her bond with Adam, it may not be long until they hit the sheets. With Valentine's Day just around the corner, it might be the perfect opportunity for Chelsea and Adam to cave in when it comes to sizzling in the bedroom. Whether booze is involved this time around or not, Chelsea and Adam may find themselves tangled up under the covers. Will this be when Chelsea accepts her lingering love for Adam and this new chance at a future as a couple? Adam has made it clear that he'd like to kick off a new chapter, it's just a matter of Chelsea getting on the same page. Valentine's Day could be when things start coming into focus for Chelsea, so we'll bring you more predictions on this romantic holiday and what's in store. Do you think Adam belongs with Chelsea or was he better off with Sally Spectra? Are you hopeful about Chelsea and Adam's reunion working out? The Young and the Restless spoilers say Adam and Chelsea's new living arrangement will change things between them, so stay tuned for updates on any love life news on the horizon. Claire sees Jordan. Are the Newmans in new danger? The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, January 15th, force Claire to relive some of her worst memories as she comes face to face with the evil aunt who tried to ruin her life. And may not be done yet. Next on The Young and the Restless, Jordan has been cleverly lurking about town in a disguise no one will ever see through, a blonde wig. And a hat. Oh, and dark glasses. She took so much trouble to disguise her face. But not her voice. And not her coffee order. She may be willing to break out of prison, hide out in a seedy hotel room for weeks, commit murder, kidnap, and tamper with prescribed medication. But drink some disgusting instant coffee? Never. A woman should have standards. So when Claire hears a familiar voice asking for a very familiar brew, she knows who is there. And she can't help confronting the aunt of her nightmares. I've got a secret. Billy has been told by pretty much everyone not to do what he's thinking of doing. When Lily, Chelsea, and Phyllis are in agreement, you've got to assume Billy is about to do something very, very stupid. But Billy doesn't see it that way. If everyone is against him, that has to mean he's on the right track. His brilliance just threatens them. Yeah, threatened. Brilliance. That's got to be it. Together again, Adam is determined to reunite with Chelsea. We're unsure why, but he's pulling out all the stops to get her to move into him and Connor. Chelsea said no. But she's starting to waver. She needs something to do. Why not this? Adam's got a surprise coming. Chelsea drinks, Nick thinks, and an alliance sinks. Chelsea bumped into Victoria in the jazz club as she ordered a double dirty martini with extra olives. Victoria invited her to join her for a drink. Victoria shocked Chelsea by saying she had heard what happened between her, Billy, and Adam. If you want to talk about it, I'm a pretty decent listener, Victoria said. Chelsea confided that what happened was not just Adam's fault, and she was equally guilty. Victoria said things happen and wouldn't judge. She added that she had issues with Adam in the past but saw a lot of changes in him over the past year. Victoria noted that given the work they had been doing with Connor and his OCD, it was only natural that Adam and Chelsea would get closer. She told Chelsea that no one would be surprised if they got back together. Chelsea let out a heavy sigh. Chelsea noted that Victor was suddenly championing the cause as well. She told Victoria that her reunion with Cole over their child was a beautiful story, but it wasn't hers and Adam's. Chelsea thought that, given their history, she and Adam should never be a couple again. Chelsea admitted that Adam wanted her to move to the ranch, and Victoria thought it wasn't a bad idea, even though Chelsea made it clear to her and Adam that it would be strictly platonic and that she would have her own space. Chelsea explained that Connor's request for her to move into the ranch made sense. Victoria admired Chelsea's commitment to Connor and thought Victoria would do the same if she were in her position. Chelsea agreed, but they laughed when she said she couldn't see Billy wanting to move to the ranch to co-parent with her. Chelsea asked Victoria for her opinion about moving to the ranch. "I think you're a good influence on Adam," Victoria said. Chelsea knew Adam was stronger when he felt supported, but she didn't think she could live under the same roof. Victoria pointed out she wouldn't be committing to Adam by moving to the ranch, she'd be committing to Connor. "Victoria, I don't think Adam sees the difference," Chelsea told her. After Victoria left, Chelsea called Adam and asked to meet him. She said she made a decision about moving into the ranch. At Crimson Lights, Claire saw Mariah and Tessa and asked if there was any news about Sharon. She told her that they found the car but there was no sign of Sharon. Mariah could tell by the look on Claire's face she thought Sharon could be dead. Mariah exclaimed she was wrong and she would know if her mom was dead as she would feel it. Mariah recounted how Sharon had been her old self again, and it made no sense that she would vanish. Claire asked if Sharon couldn't be found because she didn't want to be. Mariah said Sharon wouldn't just run off. Mariah pointed out that when Sharon thought she was guilty of Heather's murder, she stayed to face her punishment, and she had just found out that someone else was there, so she wouldn't take off now when there was a chance of vindication. Mariah didn't think it was a coincidence that Ian was in town. Tessa pointed out that Ian said Victor's security team was following him, which Claire thought must be comforting. Mariah said Ian was so slick that it meant nothing. Mariah shared that when she saw him in the park, she threatened to kill him if she saw his face again. Tessa admitted that Ian was at society earlier. Tessa said that she knew Ian was just trying to get under their skin, and Abby banned him from the place. Mariah wanted to know exactly what Ian said to her. Tessa explained that Ian wanted to see if she was okay, and he wanted to make amends. Mariah said it was all lies. Mariah was very upset about Sharon, so Tessa and Claire consoled her. Claire shared the stories that Nikki had told her about Ian but reminded them how Ian had been stopped and thought he would be again. She added that the stories reminded her about her Aunt Jordan. Claire didn't know what she would do if she had to come face to face with her again. Mariah recounted how seeing Ian knocked the wind out of her. Claire said she had a similar scare earlier and told them how she heard Jordan's tea order and wondered if it was her. "I swear to God I had a PTSD flashback," Claire said. She wondered what the chances were of someone else ordering an oolong tea with agave and half. Claire said it freaked her out so badly that she called the prison to ensure that Jordan was still locked up. Mariah thought that it was good that Claire called the prison. "We don't need two crazies running around," she added. Mariah said she would find peace after Sharon was found and Ian was banished from their lives. In the sewer, Sharon heard Nick come in and find her. He immediately started to try and break the chain that bound her to the pipe. Sharon gushed that she knew he'd be the one to save her. As Nick tried to break the chain, he made a loud noise. Startled, Sharon snapped out of it and realized she was alone. Sharon cried, realizing that seeing Nick wasn't real. She wondered if drugs were still in her system. Sharon weakly asked herself how this could be happening. She could hear Nick's voice telling her to hold on, and he would find her. Sharon drank some water and then thought there must be something she could use to find a way out. She saw a metal rod on the stairs nearby, but it was just out of her reach. Nick came into society and saw Summer and Chance enjoying their evening. He asked if Chance had any information about Sharon's disappearance, but he didn't, so he called the station to confirm. Summer shared that Phyllis thought Sharon was just up to her games. Nick argued that Sharon was back on track and wouldn't just up and disappear like that. They all agreed that none of it makes sense. Chance thought that the car doors and windows being shut indicated she got out before it went into the river. What if Sharon was never in the car in the first place? Nick asked Chance. Chance asked Nick where he was going with that idea. Nick didn't know. Nick recounted the possibility of the scenario that Sharon could have gotten out of the car in time before it went underwater. He suggested that someone else put it there. Chance wanted to know who and why someone would do that. I don't know, but there's a lot of crazy around us, Nick said. Let's look at the sequence of events, Nick offered. He pointed out that Sharon was targeted for months, someone tainted her meds and framed her for Heather's murder. Nick thought the same person could be behind it all, but Chance thought that was a stretch. It doesn't mean I'm wrong, Nick argued. He pointed out that someone got Sharon high on PCP, and she was confronting Heather, but someone else was in the room. Nick said they needed to consider the latest wild card. Is this your Ian Ward theory? Chance said slightly snidely, and Summer sighed. Nick pointed out that Ian was obsessed with Mariah and the Newmans. Chance agreed Ian was a threat but thought it was a coincidence that he was back in town at the same time Sharon went missing. Nick said his gut said otherwise. Chance told Nick he was a witness to Ian being at society the night Sharon went missing. Nick said he could have gotten to Sharon before he and Faith arrived, but Chance thought that was speculation. He told Nick he needed a hell of a lot more than that as proof. Nick pointed out that Tessa told him that Ian had asked for a table for two that night, and suggested he wasn't working alone. Chance stared as Nick and Summer discussed Phyllis's New Year's resolution to back off obsessing about Sharon. Nick thought it was out of character, but Summer thought Phyllis was trying to turn a new leaf. Nick wondered where Sharon was and if she was being held prisoner. Nick admitted that he went to see Ian. He explained he needed to look him in the eye and demand some answers. Chance thought Nick had escalated the situation. I want to work with you, I'm trying, Chance snapped. He told Nick to let the professionals handle it. Nick was sure the key to finding Sharon was figuring out who Ian was working with. In the motel room, Jordan saw Ian coming through the window. Finally! Where the hell have you been? She barked. He spotted the coffee she brought for him but said she had brought it over an hour ago and was angry, so she dumped it in the plant. Ian claimed to have been out working on their plan, but Jordan didn't believe he was doing anything for her part of the plan. She growled that she wanted to know where he was and why he brought their enemies to their door. Ian said that Nick coming by the motel room had just played into his plan. He explained that he had sent a letter to the police warning that he could be in danger of the Newmans. He added that he went to society to affirm his connection with Tessa. He tried to tell Jordan that the plan was the same and he was also working for her benefit. Ian seemed sure that if he could win over Mariah and Tessa, he'd have an all-access pass to Claire for her. He told Jordan it was a process and she needed patience. Jordan warned she wasn't going to get screwed over and was about to take matters into her own hands. I am terminating this partnership, tout de suite, she told him. Ian blamed Jordan for the Newmans being watching them and called her careless for Nick finding out about Sharon's meds being tampered. He said her new failure was unforgivable. You wanted her gone, I did exactly that, Jordan said. I wanted Sharon dead, but she isn't, is she? Ian glowered. Ian demanded that Jordan tell him the truth, but she refused. Ian said he had overheard Chance saying that the car was empty. What the hell did you do with Sharon? Ian asked. Jordan admitted she put Sharon somewhere safe where she wouldn't escape. After everything I've done for you, our well-laid-out plans, you went rogue? Ian asked. Jordan said she was stifled in their relationship, and her needs were being taken care of. She and Ian began arguing, and Jordan felt as though Ian was mansplaining and belittling her. She said she wouldn't stand for it anymore. And by the way, one person's loose ends could be another person's insurance policy. Which will come in very handy now that this partnership is over, Jordan said. Ian told her she didn't mean it, but Jordan told him she was already out the door. Honey, who's going to keep you warm at night? Ian soothed. As if, Jordan sneered. Ian warned her she didn't want to turn her back on him. As a man of the cloth, I can't in good conscience know of a murder of a young woman and stay silent when I know who the killer is, Ian threatened. Jordan told him if he turned her in, she'd tell the cops where Sharon was. And every shred of evidence will put you right there, Jordan said. Ian warned Jordan if she walked out the door, there was no going back. Good luck with Mariah, and have a nice life, Reverend, Jordan said as she walked out the door. Enraged, Ian yelled in frustration with clenched fists. At Crimson Lights, Jordan appeared wearing her disguise. She ordered an oolong tea with agave and half. Behind her, Claire said, "Goodbye," to Mariah and Tessa and came inside. As Jordan took her tea and said thank you, Claire heard her and said, "Jordan?" Her aunt stiffened up, then bolted out the door. "Wait!" Claire called out before chasing after her. Jordan made it to the park when Claire came up behind her and called her name. Jordan stopped, took off her glasses, and turned dramatically. "Hello, kitten," she smiled. "My God, it is you," Claire said, horrified. "Thanks for your time. Don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update."